Okay,
Kick us
cool.
off, Isaac.
Let's start off. All right, so today we have a very special guest, Valentin. So the people watching us don't know who Valentin is, so we're just going to explain that he's a planche master. You can catch him on Instagram. He's an idol of ours because we all train planche, we all do calisthenics. We see Valentin on Instagram, and he's the person that we aspire to be. He's competed in the past. Right now, he's a coach. You can get his ebooks and get his programs. You can get taught by him. But in today's podcast, we're really trying to find out what makes Valentin tick, what we can take away from his knowledge to not only improve us as calisthenics athletes, but also as people. And that's really what this podcast is about. Via Valenti, way of the mighty. Valentin. Let's do this podcast. So excited.
Yeah. So thanks. Did you want to introduce yourself? I mean, I know we just did, but did you want to tell a little bit about yourself, or we'll probably introduce first?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so my name's Jordan. I train calisthenics. Recently started this podcast with Blake and Isaac. We're just individuals with a similar mindset, similar goals, and we love to train calisthenics. And yeah, the goal of this podcast is just to spread knowledge about calisthenics and grow and learn. Did you want to just tell a little bit about yourself, Blake?
Yeah, Jordan covered most. I'm Blake, by the way. It's great to meet you. Appreciate your time. Yeah, Jordan pretty much hit the nail on the head with doing the calisthenics and the growth and the learning. So that's pretty much it. We're just interested to hear what you have to say and yeah, take it all in.
Great. That's a good initiative. And I like the plan. I like the little team. I like the project. I think having more podcasts in calisthenics is something good, actually, to let people open themselves and show more than what you just can see on Instagram. So I like the project. That's why I think it's Javier that told you that I was interested into talking with you guys. So it's a pleasure.
Perfect.
Awesome.
It's unfortunate that it's not you up here, but Elise's planche.
No, but the image is beautiful.
Yeah, it is a beautiful planche. We actually wanted to ask a couple of questions, probably the same for you, but you recently started working with Javier. Just kind of wanted to get an idea of where that started and what piqued your interest in terms of Javier.
Javier was a really good mate in Australia. It's good to see that he has gone to better things, moved away to a different country and made all these good connections. But it's really interesting to see your point of view about Javier and also what you guys have in planned in store for the calisthenics world.
Great. So with Javier, we didn't begin to talk about calisthenics. Javier sure is an athlete, sure is a calisthenics guy, but out of this is someone with a deep point of view and vision about life. He knows a lot of things about economy, about geopolitics, about everything that constitutes the world, actually. And we began to exchange with each other about these type of topics, about business, economy, ideology, let's say. And yeah, we began to talk with each other on that type of topics. And day after days, we began to talk more, especially into calisthenics after knowing each other. And he explained me that in Australia, he was organizing events. He was trying to build something there, but in the end, he had to move for some reasons. And that he wanted to keep organizing things and provide for calisthenics with his work. I've been interested in the personage, in the pure aspect of this guy, because he give, but he don't get, and it's rare to see people like this ready to give without earning. I think I'm like this too. So naturally, topic after topic, correspondence after correspondence, I decided to support him in his initiative, and we didn't build this project together. I gave him ideas, but he is in his role of organizer, and I'm in my role of helper, because He was organizing things before, and I've been helping events to grow, to contact athletes, and to do what they was not able to do actually, because, for example, Javier, he's great with logistic. He's great to organize, but he didn't have the capacity to contact that much people and that big people. They would simply not have answered. So I'm like the person between Javier and the athletes that make the contact possible, and that get attention for the event before the event really show himself. Because let's say factually, if I was not on the side of Javier for the begin, before we begin to announce participants, etc., no one would have watched the project. I I've I've been doing the contact, I've been giving IDs, and I've been showing the project before it was perceived by the audience as legit. Now, I don't have much more things to do because the athletes are contacted, the participants are selected, the world know about ESO, so my job is done. I prefer to be seen as an agent. I'm an agent talking with people because I talk French, English, Spanish. I have contact for a Russian traducer, eventually Chinese traducer, etc. And all the resources that Javier didn't have before, I've been providing this to make it possible.
Perfect. Makes a lot of sense. What do you think is the main goal behind ISO? Maybe Javier has a goal, and it was maybe he's seems like he's doing most of the work behind it while you're getting all the contacts. But what's the main goal behind it? What do you want to see change about calisthenics with ISO?
Mm, it's not really changing, it's completing. Because, for example, from years and years, there is freestyler, and so there is freestyle competition. Some years ago, power free appeared in the world because there was power free athletes around the world. And every time there is an audience, this audience need a place uh, to show his performance, etc. And in the past years, there is a lot of athletes that became something like, let's call it specialist. It's people like me that just want to do what they really enjoy. They they don't want to join freestyle. Uh, they are not completely interested in power free, even if it's the only place they can go. And so now there is so much specialist. So if there is a demand, there is an offer, and we are here to provide this offer to this audience that need a place to express his specialty, his excellence, and yeah, that's it. Somewhere it's really similar to business. When there is a problem, there is a solution. The problem was the lack of this type of event, and we answered this problem with this type of event. After this, the goal literally is to grow calisthenics, because in the world there is the specialist, the power free, and the freestyle in the calisthenics world. But who really grow the level of calisthenics? It's the specialist. It's the specialist in freestyle that unlock the movement. Then the power free, uh, sorry, yeah, the specialist unblock the movement, open the door of endurance of however whatever it could be, and after it's introduced years after into freestyle, you see that, for example, let's say front lever, the sat front lever have been introduced by specialists years ago, and today you begin to see sat in competition. But really, what is growing the level in calisthenics, it always have been the specialists. So if you stimulate the specialists, you give them a place to shine and you motivate them to do more. So if the specialists keep innovating, so but the power free athletes will use it, and then the freestyle athlete will use it. So stimulating the specialist is having a direct consequence on all the other aspects of the sport. So it's directly growing the level. And yeah, the goal is to give a place to express to people that don't have place to express, uh, give them a reason to do more to affect all the rest of the sport, and globally growing calisthenics, but for real, not repeating what everyone is doing, but bringing something new that is like one stone more in the stairs of calisthenics.
It's a very smart and interesting way to look at it, and it makes a lot of sense as well.
Yeah, finding the gap in the industry and then just really powering down on that is what ISO is in my eyes, which is why we also started this podcast. And as you previously mentioned before, there's a need for podcasts to see behind the scenes, and there's not much of it, which is why we did it. So I understand why you guys did ISO, and I'll definitely come to Spain next year to support and go to Javier's gym and see all the specialists in action. But in terms of that, very exciting stuff. I think Blake has some questions as well.
I think that mindset is very analytical. The way that you break down how you want to see calisthenics grow based on the different types of people that there are in calisthenics is very analytical approach of yours. And I just want to pick your brain a little bit. I want to know, is that the way that you sort of tend to think about everything? Have you always been very analytical, especially with calisthenics? Because it seems like you break things down in a very understandable way, but not a way that everyone else tends to think about things.
Yeah, logical way. It's like I don't talk a lot about, but I'm a little autistic. I'm Asperger, so I have a perception of people, life, everything. You know, when I don't feel I'm thinking. I feel I'm observing, analyzing, and just going to the essential. You know, in everything I do. Like that's maybe why I have a so particular contact with the world and the people. But for me, it's still okay. Um, so it's like when people talk, there is no sense in what they say. For example, everyone say develop calisthenics. What is developing calisthenics?
Mm.
It's having higher standards, developing the economy of calisthenics, because in this world no money, no growth in anything. It's sharing knowledge, because there is another problem in calisthenics, is that the lifetime of an athlete is really short. That's why the community don't grow so much. The medium lifetime of an athlete after 10 years, I saw it's like 3-4 years, for two reasons. First, people don't get money from calisthenics, and so they begin in being young, and when they have to work, so they don't have the same time to train, and they leave, or they just get injured because of lack of understanding, and they don't train the proper way. So developing calisthenics is sharing knowledge, developing the economy of calisthenics, building new concepts. It's not simply doing YouTube video or doing what everyone is doing. No, it's really giving the right fuel to the people and the community to have a longer lifetime in the sport, and providing to calisthenics what calisthenics really needs.
Perfect. What do you think is some? I know we've already mentioned a few of your goals, of course, with ISO and wanting to test how far each specialist can go in calisthenics, because that's how we discover new moves and skills. But do you have any goals for yourself? I'm assuming planche related, or in calisthenics that you're trying to accomplish. You seem like you're at a level that's already not even human.
It's no, it's largely human. It's maybe we don't have the same understanding of the sport with the other athletes. I will just take planche as example. People take planche as pure strength, when planche is physics. Planche is physics. Uh, the hold in planche, the press in planche is a counterweight. So sure, there is pure strength. You maintain your ISO, with strength, but without the physique aspect, you will never perform at high level. Um, so, so yeah. And my goal personally, always repeat it. I'm not into competitions because competitions, the actual competitions are something contextual. Let's take the last swap. The real final was Christophe Gusta, but it never happened in final because first, a competition is a competition. A tournament is a form of competition, but it's not a pure competition. And uh, anything can happen in a tournament. You can fall and you just go away. You don't have another opportunity to show your best, you know?
Mm.
So for me, tournament is more like a game. People call it a game. It's a game and there is a random aspect, and I don't like when there is anything random. I like absolute results. And so that's why I'm not interested in competitions. That was a part of my idea. Javier was thinking about it, but to talk about ISO, it's a real competition. It's not a tournament. If one athlete fail a test, he will have another try to show his best. So you don't go away just because you failed one time. Because if you fail one time, you go away. The result is not absolute. Okay. So personally, I don't want to beat anyone one time, one day at this moment. Uh, I want to win. Okay, I want to have something better. Sure, I will not. No one will be the best for all time, but my goal is to build a wall. Okay, what I call a wall is having an endurance, having type of performances that even the next generations don't beat for 5 to 10 years. And with the exponential growth of the level in calisthenics, if you just stay up for 5 to 10 years, you did something absolutely incredible. Because if you watch calisthenics 5 years ago and for calisthenics today, let's imagine what it could be in 5 years. If you stay on the top in 5 years, you did something really meaningful. It's not a medal. I don't need a medal. I don't want a trophy. I want a win that I feel. I don't need something material to feel it. So yeah, build a wall that even the next generation will not easily beat in 5 to 10 years.
I think that's really interesting that you want your legacy to, I guess, live on to some degree after you make that impression last for a long time. But does the foundation of that come from a competitive nature? Are you trying to compete against other people, or are you trying to be the best that you can be? Are you trying to reach a level that is beyond where you think you can reach? Are you trying to surpass your own beliefs, or are you trying to compete against other people? What's the foundation for that drive?
70-30. 70%, I've always been training myself alone, and I just keep beating myself. But somewhere, uh, human is a social animal, and no one can say there is no comparison. No one can say. It would be just not logic.
Mm.
So 70% I want to beat myself, and 30%, sure, somewhere, sometime I compare with people, and I I can not be fully satisfied if I just beat myself. And I want an absolute result. So
Yeah.
absolute without comparing to other super strong athletes would not mean nothing. So yeah, 30% I sure compare with some people because the really, really high level planche athletes are rare.
Yeah.
And you know, even I help the people that potentially can beat me to try to beat me. There
Mm.
is a big part of the strongest plancher in the world that I've not been coaching literally, but I've been helping a lot. Like this, because you know, it's like I know I have a deeper understanding of how we should perform. So if I beat someone that don't have my understanding, it's like I come with a katana and he have a knife. It's not fair. The result is not absolute.
Yep.
So I want to beat the deep potential of people.
Mm.
I want to beat them at 100%. I want Valentin at 100% to beat them at 100%. I want my deep being beating their deep being. So I need somewhere to help them to have this absolute result.
Do you think um, a human in the future would go past 2020? Is it physically
Wow.
possible, like physics wise?
Never say never. So I will not tell you no, but 2020 is, I think it's out of this world. Because when you see, let's say, like, I take often Elfo as example because Elfo for me is top 3 plancher in the world. I will say it like right now, the top 3 plancher in the world is Elfo, Chen Yongtong, and me. No rank. I will not play to rank, okay?
Yep.
But Elfo, even if he is absolutely incredible, I have much respect for this guy. With his actual level, he is 999. So if the Elfo of today, the incredible Elfo of today, hardly reached 10-10-10, what you think? What do you think about 2020?
Mm. Next to impossible. Next to.
What I've found in calisthenics is the planche itself is one of those moves that are drastically more difficult than any other move. I can train front lever and it progresses far quicker than my planche does, even when I focus very heavily on my planche. I know you have a lot of value to offer, and especially in your programs, but is there any simple tips that you can provide? Maybe you've answered this before as well, but especially to people that are new to calisthenics, because calisthenics in Australia is relatively small. So did you have any tips for learning planche that you would say lots of beginners make mistakes about?
Yeah, so first I would not say that planche is literally harder than front lever. I would say that it's much more complex. What I mean is that you can begin the front lever not having the best grip, not having the best activation and engagement, and still progress in front lever. In planche is different. In planche, if you have a bad grip, so you're directly losing your wrist and your forearm strength. In front lever, not completely. Uh, in planche, if you don't engage your shoulder the right way, so you will do your planche in the opposite sense. Your planche should always go forward. But if my shoulder don't allow me to maintain the weight going forward, so I just feel continually bringing my legs back. And so it's like doing my planche in the opposite sense. So it's a much deeper movement. It's a more complex movement. And that's why people have a problem to express their strength when doing planche. But in the end, when you really feel and understand the activation of planche, it's just another way to express your strength. So it's like there is more conditions to express correctly your strength in planche than in front lever. And that's why it's perceived by people as something much harder. But I'm used to have students that are stuck for maybe 1 year or more on tuck planche or advanced tuck planche. We correct their grip, their shoulder, their elbow position, and their extension. And in 3 months, wow, they have results. So it's not that it was basically harder. They was not having all the conditions to progress. It's a way of expression of strength under lots of conditions. And so if I have tips and advice for beginners about planche, it would be to really understand the movement. Because I will just take a little example, stand up quickly to let you understand. Here, I have my arm in the right position to perform planche. I don't know if you see at the camera, but I don't have any overflex on my elbow. It's because I have an engaged grip. Your body is smart. Every time your body loses strength somewhere, he compensates. He finds strength otherwhere, okay? So if you see correctly with the lights, I will just break my wrist and oh, my elbow is overflexed to compensate the lack of strength I created with the bad grip at my wrist, okay? So you see that simply, even if I have all my arm in the right position to perform planche, if I just fucked up my grip, I lose all my wrist strength, I compensate on my elbow, I flex the lower part of my biceps, so I don't just lose strength, but I'm in a risky position. If my elbow take too much pressure to compensate my wrist, so if I really push hard in this condition, I will get injured. So really understand how planche work. And that's why on my YouTube channel, for example, one of my first video to help people to increase the lifetime of planche athlete was to give for free the grip to the world, because it's the main point of your planche. If even, I just showed you, even if all your arm is in the right position, you fuck up the grip, you fuck up the planche, and you take risk. You may be injured. There is lots of people that get a bicep seizure. Most of the time is because it's or because of the shoulder or because of the grip. And they find thousand excuses. I didn't sleep, I didn't drink, I didn't blah, 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 blah. No, no, no. You just don't have the right activation. And what happened is pretty logic. So understand the movement, work it the right way, put yourself in question, because if every training you go back home with pain, no pain, no gain is a scam. I go back home, I train every day, I go back home, I have no pain, I feel good. And there is no people working more violently than me. You see that when I push, I punch. I don't simply do push-up, you know? So if I planche so violently and I go back home feeling okay, it's not magic. It's not my body. It's not Valentin. No, it's just I do it the right way. So work with your head before you work with your arms.
Also wanted to ask in regards to your planche training, do you do much pull trainings? I know you don't do much front lever, but do you do some sort of training for your back muscles so that you don't get imbalances or overly strong or tight in your pushing muscles? I'm sure you think about that.
For me, it's a scam too. It's a lack of
Yeah.
understanding, because look, if your planche is done the right way, I have 50% of the contact on both extremity of my hand, and I'm involving equivalently the anterior and the posterior part of my arm. So why this balance if I work equivalently on both sides? And you know, I began calisthenics with a really bad posture, etc. I still do only planche, and today I have a good posture. I have a good muscular balance. I feel really good in my body. So, so no, you're not obligated to work on front lever to feel good in your body and avoid muscular disbalance.
Yeah. So the planche level in Australia is really low. And most of the things you hear when you're at the meetups and listening to people's stories about them trying to do planche is, and obviously it's going to sound harsh to the people listening in Australia, but I'm already a big fan of when you say no compassion is compassion, is they make up excuses of their height, their weight, their legs. And I've done it too, where I've set limitations on myself, which has stopped me from getting planche. What is your advice on that mindset?
No compassion is not so much. Yeah, it's you and yourself. But I was saying this mostly about with other people, because let's say you have a friend, he continually do things the wrong way, etc. And you tell him, yeah, bro, good form, that's great, that's dope. You don't help this guy. You're useless. It's the opposite. You're helping this guy to get stuck. So you can have the same approach with yourself. It's like you should not cheer yourself up when there is no reason. But so compassion, no compassion is compassion, is about my way to act. You see, some people say, oh, Valentin, you're rude. Yeah, because if I'm not rude, I'm useless. If you do shit, I will tell you you're doing shit. But if what is important is the interaction of the result or the result.
Result.
For me, with my autistic mindset, the only thing that counts is the result. I prefer someone slapping my face for my well-being than someone said telling me, oh, Valentin is good. I don't care about being good. I want the result. And so if you only aim for the result, you want hard friends and you want to be hard with yourself.
And that's probably the reason why you're one of the best planche athletes. I think it's good. I respect someone who can embrace discomfort and say the hard things that need to be said and do the hard things that need to be done despite how they may feel or how others may feel. I think that's a great way to go about it.
So before we took that break, you were talking briefly about your no compassion is compassion, I guess, ideology, mindset, whatever you want to call it. I'm really interested to know where that comes from because it's a very unique mindset. But I think it's, well, listening to you talk about it and hearing you talk about it on other podcasts and at different times, it's something that's kind of resonated with me, and I'm sure it resonates with plenty of other people as something that makes a lot of sense, but it's not commonly thought about. So where did you actually get that from? Was it, did you learn it from somewhere, or did you just kind of come up with it yourself at some point in your life?
I think it's connected to my life. Uh, to be honest, in my younger years, I've been a shit, literally. I've done before to be in sport and to decide to go the right way, I've been going the wrong way.
Mm.
And what changed me, my life, and my way to act have been big slap in the face.
Yeah.
So I just know that we don't evolve. The world evolution is a scam. We adapt, we change.
Mm.
And you don't change and you don't adapt because you want. You adapt because you have to. There is something that need to obligate you to adapt. So I'm obligating through my way to act people to change. And if they
Yep.
don't change, I don't want contact with them. Simple. So it's like somewhere I love human and somewhere I hate human because we are so stupid, me included. I had to get fucked so much to adapt.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's connected to my way of life, my experience, and I don't think what I'm telling you. I know what I'm telling you. No one changed because he just want to change. And so if it's like this, so I just follow how life wanted to be, and I just act how I need to act. And yeah, even in my personal relations, my best friend, let's take Gena as example, is the guy that slapped me the most, and I'm the guy mostly slapping him because he wants my well-being, and I want his well-being. I want him to be as great as he can, and he want me to be as great as I can. And if you really want it, so you need to obligate this person to be like this. You cannot just ask, yeah, please, bro, do this like this. No, you need
Yep.
to do this like this. You're stupid. Change it. And this way people change.
Yep. And if you're I guess if you don't get that slap in the face, you will end up suffering more in the long term than if you just suffer in the short term. It might hurt your feelings or, you know, put you down slightly in the short term, but in the long term, you'll realize that it helped you out. And I think it's really interesting when you meet someone else that has the same mindset, you connect through that. And then instead of one person benefiting, you're both just building, stacking on top of each other. You slap for slap.
Yeah, exactly. Because I prefer to slap my friend or slap myself, because when it's life that come to slap you, it's much different.
Mm,
When
yeah.
life slap you, it's not to joke. When you lose something, you really lose something, and it's real love. Let's say I'm dad now. If my daughter gonna touch the fire, I prefer to slap her hand to let her burn herself. It's
Yep.
even what a father do for his kids.
Mm,
So this true love is slapping literally, and
yep.
only the result counts. You don't want people to get hurt, so you prefer to hurt them before they hurt themselves.
Yep. Do you think that that mindset is transferable, or you can apply it to yourself, obviously, right? You can use the same mindset with yourself, but I guess in the context of choosing to do things that are uncomfortable so that when uncomfortable situations come to you unexpectedly, you're better prepared for that situation.
Yeah, literally, because in the end, in having this approach, nothing is bad,
Mm.
because bad bring to good, and good bring to bad. Look, if you want to eat good food, generally it would be bad food, and it will have a bad consequence. And if you want to uh, be healthy, but you will not enjoy so much your food, but you will be good. So not everything is complementary, and if everything is complementary, in the end there is nothing bad. So you receive everything the same way.
Yeah, interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting.
I just wanted to say, well, first of all, congratulations on the new child. But I feel like you're very stern in your thoughts and beliefs. How are you going to instill these beliefs in your daughter, and are you going to raise her training calisthenics, or what's the idea there? Is she going to be a planche master eventually like yourself, or what's your idea in how to raise that child?
I feel like a father or a mother should not be a teacher but a guide. You should provide resources, but you can't decide of the way. So gymnastic and calisthenics is developing the nervous system that have a consequence on the brain, and it's proven that it's making the kids smarter. So sure, she will do kind of gymnastic or calisthenics from really young, but not to put her on the calisthenics way, just to give her resources to make her smarter. As she will, I will talk the three languages I talk with her, but not to bring her to be traducer, or I don't know. It's just to have the maximum resources to do whatever she want to do later, because
Mm.
body weight movement is the base of everything. After, you can do climbing, you can do fighting, you can do whatever you want to do with this base. So no, well, I will train her to be a good human, to have all the resources to choose her own way, and to be efficient in her own way. I will be a guide, not a teacher.
Yeah, it's cool. Um, this is a little bit of a different topic, but back to, I guess, what we were talking about before with um, basically what I want to ask you is, it seems like, at least from other people's perspective, you have a lot more enemies, or people would consider you someone who would have more enemies than would have friends. Do you, I guess, would you agree with that? And do you think that, because this is what I think, that it's better to have more enemies than it is to have friends. What do you think about that?
It's a great question. So I think that in a dumb world, if everyone like you, is that you're dumb. Uh, the people that do really great things in the history are most of the time perceived badly. Uh, and yeah, I think I have more people perceiving me badly than the right way because simply they cannot perceive me. So if you don't have the meaning after my action, sure you will not like me. If you are always supporting people even if the result in their life is bad, you will not understand me. So my actions are just logic and smart, and nothing in this world is logic and smart. That's why the world is fucked up like this. So
Yeah.
I'm not even looking to be understood. I begin after 10 years to express myself and to, you see, I'm 10 years in calisthenics and I did my first podcast like some months ago. I've never even just tried to explain myself because I don't need to justify. I know I'm right because it's logic, because it makes sense. And only the result counts.
Yep.
Sometimes I receive messages of people that I've thrown away and they come to thank me because in the end they understand why I did it and they thank me for the result in their life. So I prefer 100 people to hate me and 5 people to tell me, yeah, Valentin, you changed something in my life than having 100 stupid fans and change nothing in the life of people.
Yeah.
And you know, at the end of the day, I will go in my bed, sleep with my wife, take care of my daughter, and if there is 10,000 haters, so what? I will wake up the same way the day after. And the funny thing is that they hate and love at the same time. They hate what they receive, but they like what they see. They like to see someone true that face everything in front of him, you know? The only proof is that when I'm online, there is lots of crying, lots of drama, etc. But when I come at the last moment in an event without saying nothing to no one, I never had anyone telling me something bad in an event. Because when it's online, you have a fake image, but when it's in front of you, you see the truth.
Yep.
So I don't have problem with people hating because the people that know me for real. I have a real team of friends. I can count on them and they really want my well-being. I really act to help them to be well and have a
Mm.
nice life. And all the rest is superficial. All the rest just don't exist. It's social media. Social media, it's not life. And when it comes to life, there is no one crying or saying nothing.
Yep. Yep. It ties into what you said before about as well. I mean, in terms of even training, building up other people to compare yourself to as well, right? Because you don't want to just be pushing everyone away and then having no one come back. But those people that come back, you then help them out and you use them as almost a measuring stick to compare yourself to. And then, you and 4 people will build each other up while everyone else is just staying the same.
Yeah, and it's the result that counts.
Hmm.
Let's say generally these people crying and hating, uh, I don't want to get their life because my life is good.
Yeah.
I don't have the
Yeah.
time to cry or rage on anyone.
They want your life.
I never have bad interaction. I never go to people to have a bad interaction. It's always people coming to me,
Yeah.
acting a way I would not act with them.
Mm.
So they are received badly and they cry because they are received badly. But bro, I will never come to you to interact the way you come to interact with me. And
Mm.
what I don't do to people, I don't accept people to do it with me. It's
Yeah.
pretty simple.
Yeah. Good morals. Good morals. Yeah. Are you religious?
Religious, no. Spiritual, yes.
Yeah, I can tell.
Because to resume it really quickly, it's like to write a book, you need a hand. If you have a hand, I don't trust you.
Mm.
So, but after I'm an observer, everything in the world is perfectly done. It could be bad, it could be good. Everything is perfect and perfectly connected to everything that is the world.
Yeah.
And you cannot have something that perfect without having something after. And if you
Yeah.
go by science, you and spiritual too. Like everything exists with an opposite. If you're
Yeah.
material, so there is an unmaterial.
Yep. And everything's made of the same stuff. I've looked at science as well. Like subatomically, everything that exists in the universe is all the same.
Yeah. And right now we are talking, but you are empty space and I'm empty space, and I'm a material being moving
Yep.
through electric impulsions that are not material. So
Yep.
the unmaterial is the source of the material, and the material is the consequence of the unmaterial.
Mm.
And both allow each other to exist. If you take out
Yep.
one thing, there is nothing.
Yep.
Very interesting. Would you consider yourself right wing, or would you say you're neutral, or even dare I say left wing? I've seen a bit of what you share online. A lot of it I agree with as well. But tell us a little bit about that if you don't mind.
This is a creation of the elite to put the people in a position and manipulate them easily.
Mm.
Right wing, left wing, nah, this is fake. This is
It's all
this
to
is just
divide.
sorry?
It's all to divide people.
Yeah. I think there is truth. And I think from our youngest years, we are pushed to be subjective in an objective world. I personally think that what I think don't mean a shit. No one care about what anyone think. There is facts. Facts are objective. It's God
Mm.
work, and there is what you want. Okay, sorry, connection. And there is what we want and what we think. When you go to school, what the school is asking you, what do you want to do later? But the right question is, what do you have to do later? What God gave you more than to another person? What is the thing you will do an excellent way and that will bring something to the world? What do you have to do? And I think you're really happy in not looking to be happy. You're happy when you're proud.
Mm.
Being happy is a chemical reaction. Being proud and being useful is the real way to be happy. If you feel proud and useful, you will be happy indirectly, you know? So,
Yep.
sorry, I lose my word a little. Uh, but
That's okay. I with what you were saying with the sense of pride and happiness, I was reading a book actually, I think it was last week, and it spoke about this concept in a really interesting way. I thought it said that, and I'm paraphrasing here, that happiness arrives when you're in a situation and you don't want to be in a different one. So when you're in a position that you're completely and utterly satisfied in, that's when you're happy. And then the same as with pride, right? If you're in a position that you don't want to change and you don't want to be in a better position, then you're going to be very proud that you're in that position. You don't want to be in a different position. You're not jealous, you're not uncomfortable, you're happy, you're content, and you're proud. And so, like you were saying, that comes from investigating what your true purpose is, what you really are here to do, because anything at a more surface level than that, there's always going to be more things that you want. You're going to want this, you're going to want that, and your eyes will will turn. But then at the underlying lowest level, that's like deep inside you, that's the true purpose, and that's where you find the happiness, because you become completely satisfied with where you're at.
Yeah, you need to be where you need to be to do what you need to do. And I find myself in your words. Uh, I'm done for bodyweight sport. I understand it. I feel it. I just see it. I understand it without even understanding. Um and throughout this, uh, now I'm able to influence the world. Uh, I don't want to influence the world in a superficial way because sport is just sport. You
Yeah.
change the life of people with sport, but there is more important things in life, and that's one of my projects. In 2 months, I go Colombia, and we will launch a podcast with my friend Gena, but we will be mainly talking about the world, uh, about all that do that the world is like this today. What is money? What mean money? Um, why the world is just a, an infinite exchange of energy? Why the elites manipulate the world? Uh, through through which tools they are manipulating the world? And we come back to right wing, left wing, blood. It's a false debate. The debate is
Yeah.
not here. Uh, what is the right wing? The right wing is people generally saying it's my home, you're a stranger, blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
the left wing is accept everyone, love everyone, let them do whatever they want to do. No, everyone should do what they are supposed to do, and that's with it. And the main trap in the world is the subjectivity. I think this way. Everyone can think the way he wants. No, there is one truth. There is
Mm.
one universal truth. Life is coded like this, and what we want just don't count. So So yeah, I want to influence the world the right way, ask the right question, give the right information, and just help people to be less subjective, to see the things how they are. And it's the same in Planche. Let's say in Planche there is people that say, "Oh, I like this form. I want this form." But no, there is one optimized form, and no one care if you want a neutral form. It's not optimized. No one care if you want a super big round back. It's not optimized. There is one truth, and there is no trap. Because look, I have the right truth.
Mhm.
For 6 years, I never been injured. I continually evolve after 10 years. And there is people that want this form, and they get injured and they get stuck. So there is one truth in everything. There is no two truths. There is alternative half truths because yeah, you can planche with a neutral back, for example, but you will never do what the optimized activation will be able to do. And this guy doing what he have to do will never get hurt. And you, because of your neutral form, you will have compensation, etc., 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 and encounter problems that this guy doing what he need to do will not encounter. Often I do the connection between planche and the rest because a lot of things
Yeah.
I learned from planche. And when you have one truth, you understand it's universal. And what you understand throughout sport, you can apply it to your personal relations, to business, or to anything. And generally, that's why people performing seriously in something and performing seriously in other things because they found the truth that they can apply otherwhere.
Yep. Yeah. I said this in one of our other podcasts, that success is transferable. So if you learn how to become the best at anything, you inherently become better at understanding how to get good at, or how to understand the truth of any other aspect of life. But I thought that, I don't know if you've announced the this podcast that you're going to be doing in Colombia yet, but One Truth would be a really cool name, because you've mentioned it already quite a few times.
One truth. I like that.
One
One
truth.
I think it's really interesting and exciting that you're planning to start a podcast. Is the goal behind the podcast to become known for more than just calisthenics, or you want to spread your ideas more? What's the main goal behind the podcast?
The goal is to use the abilities I have. Like in English, I need to work on it. I don't have the best elocution, I don't have the best lexic, etc. But in French, I'm really good to talk. And so, what God gave me is physical ability, a way to think that I don't find a lot around, and the capacity to explain it and to put the right words on it. So if God gave me this, I need to use it, and I will not use it one by one people after one people. No, I need to use it massively to make it logic and efficient. Today we are in the era of internet, so I think it's just the logic end point of what I am. Getting famous, getting known. Sincerely, really not, because I today I would prefer to be unknown. I think the best success is the unknown success, but my abilities lead to here, and I will go where I need to go. Simply.
Perfect.
We personally believe you have really good English. And you speak better than someone that's been speaking English in a English speaking language for 20 years. Like, we could listen
Yeah.
to you all day.
And I'm also surprised how you actually still quite articulate with your words, and everything you say makes very clear sense as well. So I'm sure you do a great job on the podcast. Is it going to be? Are you going to be speaking English on the podcast, or will there be subtitles, or what language are you going to be speaking on the podcast?
I don't really know already. I think I need to get more lexic to express me more in details, to express me in English, because if I want to touch people massively, English is the only solution actually.
Yep, that makes because the most common language around the world is English, right?
Yeah.
Well, when we first did this podcast, we got lots of reviews saying that we need to do this better, do that better. But our whole mindset of starting this is we didn't come in prepared. We just jumped into the deep end. And when you get thrown in the deep end, you're going to have to learn how to swim. And so I really believe that if you want to start a podcast, you should definitely do it. Everyone wants to learn from you. Everyone loves listening to you speak. And in the process, when you get reviews and you get feedback from people listening to yourself, and you also listen back to what you say as well, it also will improve your lexicon, and everything will just be so good. Definitely recommend it.
Appreciate and really support your initiative, because it's one thing calisthenics is lacking, as I just said in the beginning. And you're right to don't wait too much to begin something, because it's in practicing that you learn and you get better. So really supporting your project, and you're doing the right way.
Awesome. Well, look, on that note, Valentin, really appreciate your time, and thanks for joining us on the podcast. But yeah, it's been a pleasure to pick your brain and get a little bit more of an insight into your ideologies as well as your calisthenics experience. And yeah, great to hear about what your plans are going forward with your podcast, and all the best. We hope it goes really well for you.
Appreciate. Thanks a lot, bro. Guys, that was a pleasure to be with you today, and I send you much energy for your future projects and achievement.
Yeah, hopefully we
Thank
can
you.
do it again soon.
Will be a pleasure.
Awesome.
Catch us on Spotify and YouTube.
That's it.
Follow
And
Valentin.
check out Valentin.
Yeah.
He's got his programs. Obviously on Instagram, everything is linked there. I think. I don't know. Is there anywhere else that anything else you want to mention that you've got, Valentin?
A little shout out to ESO, because we begin only to announce what's gonna happen, which way it's gonna happen. But literally, Javier, we're gonna mark the history, and we're gonna bring something really new, pure, and absolute to this sport. and we personally cannot wait to see this happening. It's really gonna shake the world.
Yep.
I know the details people don't know already, but just when they will see the two list of participants, they will begin to understand how massive it's gonna be.
Can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone here is really looking forward to it as well. So I'm sure it'll be a big success.
Very
wa-
exciting.
Waiting to book my tickets to Spain.
We'll be there. We'll be
We'll
there.
definitely be there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks
All
for your
right,
time
awesome.
today.
Thanks
and,
again.
Yeah,
yeah,
end
we'll
the
leave you to it.
podcast there. Thanks for watching, guys.